class today. I want to remind you to always consult with your physician prior to starting or changing your exercise regimen. You want to make sure that whatever you're starting to do or whatever you're trying to do, that it works well for your body and with your health plan. Also, please remember to check us out on all social mediums, to include our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram page. We are so grateful for you joining us each and every class and for all that you do to keep us supported. Today we're going to talk about recovery. Recovery is just as important as exercise. Recovery can be active or passive. We're going to get a little bit more into that in a few, but I want to tell you that for class today, you do not need shoes. For what we're going to partake in, this is and can be done without shoes as well as without socks. I choose to wear socks because I feel like it gives me a better grip as well as my feet get cold. And if your feet get cold like mine, then you might want to keep your socks on. You want to have a mat or that really big beach towel that we've been using for class as an alternative to a mat. You can also have, if you have those, a resistance band, the stretchy kind, something like a thermal band, that you can use that as well, or bring it with you to class because we're going to use that. And if you don't have that, then again, pantyhose, old pantyhose, or knee highs or lycra tights work just as well. You can also use a belt for these exercises, and they will help you to do some of the stretching that we're going to do. When coming to class, please make sure you wear good, breathable, supportive bottoms as well as supportive, breathable top. And you can also play music in the background to keep you motivated. Today, I would recommend something that's very soothing, very calming. And then always have your water, because just because you won't be sweating a good deal, or maybe you will, either way, it's always good to have some water to keep you hydrated. For class, we're going to talk about recovery. Recovery can be active or passive. Sometimes you hear me say that we're going to go into an active recovery. Active recovery is to be likened to or compared to when we do a very intense exercise, and then right after that, we don't necessarily just rest, but maybe we take a walk in a circle, or we come to a wall squat, or we will do a couple of lateral lunges, slowing our heart rate down just a bit. Those are some active recoveries. If you were sprinting and you decided to walk, that's active recovery or a form of active recovery. Those are just some examples. It's kind of when you take a high intensity exercise and you follow that exercise with something that's of low intensity, something that doesn't cause your heart rate to completely drop to its resting heart rate, but it drops it to a point where you can catch your breath and then you can go right back into your high intensity moves. Passive recovery, however, or more of like a resting recovery, if you want to refer to it as that, it is more of mind-body, okay? It is a time when you want to give your joints a rest from the jumping, the running, the walking, the jogging, things that are putting some pressure, some tension, but are growing the muscles just the same and are helping you to shed some pounds. These exercises work just as well. They tend to help you to tone, okay? Tone your smaller muscles, as well as just get you into a good state of mind where you're feeling recovered altogether, okay? Some exercises or classes that are like this are like Pilates or yoga, even Tai Chi, sometimes hikes, okay? Meditative walks, meditation in period. It could be guided meditation or just meditation. You might also find that diaphragmic breathing is becoming very popular as a class that is not just typical breathing or using diaphragmic breathing during your exercise, but as a class. And you can find some classes on that as well. And you may find that people are telling you, which is quite true, that diaphragmic breathing helps you to work on the muscles surrounding your lungs, which will help you to also be a way of toning up your muscles even while you're not working. Something you can do anytime. Things like going to the sauna, getting in the hot tub, using or doing some exercises in a saltwater pool, foam rolling, rolling with a nubbed ball, putting 2 tennis balls inside of a sock to work out some of the tense areas of your body is also a form of recovery, and even ICE. So the acronym ICE stands for we are elevating, we are compressing, and we are just icing. I said it a little bit backwards, so let me say it forwards. We are icing, okay, the parts that may feel a little uncomfortable. We are compressing the parts that may swell, and we are elevating those parts to get the blood moving up to the heart and right back to the areas where it's needed. So today we're going to do some recovery moves, some recovery exercises, and I'm going to touch on different areas. So these technically don't necessarily come together in a class, but I'm going to put them together for our class today. All right, first thing I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a couple of Pilates moves. So the first thing I want to show you is alternating leg raises. You're going to come on down to your mat. I want you to really get engaged with the class today. We might have we're going to have some opportunities where I'll explain some things a little bit deeper, but for the most part, I want you to feel very relaxed, very comfortable when you're doing these exercises. Okay, so you're laying down on your mat. You're going to bring your arms by your side. Your knees are going to be, your ankles are going to be underneath your knees. Your head is going to be down on the mat. You are going to first make sure that your spine is touching the mat, okay? And you're going to bring your shoulders down away from your ears so you're not hunching. You're going to look up at your ceiling, or if you're outside at the sky, and you're just going to take a moment to just breathe. Inhale and exhale. And just relax the muscles. Then what you want to do is you want to take your belly button and you want to pull it tight towards your spine, even when you're laying down. There's a bit of a misconception that when you're laying down, you don't need to contract the core, but you do. So pull your belly button tight towards your spine, okay? And next what you want to do is you want to bring your legs, knees over your hips, and ankles in line with your knees for this exercise. Well, this is the end position, okay? The start position is with your feet on the mat. The end position is going to be with both feet and what I call tabletop position, okay? You don't want to bring it where your calves are higher than your knees or your ankles are higher than your knees. You want to keep your ankles in line with your knees. Now, if you have your legs up, which you should at this point, you will feel, or you should feel, if you're pulling in your core, pulling your belly button tight towards your spine, you're going to feel some muscles pulled on while you're even in this position. And you're going to think to yourself, you didn't even do anything except lift your legs. And you already might feel a little bit of a quiver or a little bit of a muscle work here. And that's a good sign. So just know that, again, you don't have to do a sweaty workout or get into a really intense workout in order for your muscles to be at work. All right, for this move, I'm going to first show you the move. You are going to lift through the hip, okay? You're going to raise the leg up to the end position, one leg at a time, okay? And then you're going to lower each leg, one leg at a time, okay? It doesn't matter which leg you start with, as long as you lift the leg and lower the leg. And when doing so, you do not flop, okay, the leg, okay? You don't want to flop it so that the calves touch the hamstring or the back of the leg, but you want to keep it so that the hip is doing the movement. And every time you raise it to the tabletop position, the leg is in a 90-degree angle, okay? All right. Now we want to incorporate the breathing. So the breathing for this exercise is you're going to inhale, you're going to exhale, then you're going to lift the leg. You're going to inhale, you're going to exhale, and you're going to lift the leg, okay? Same thing, lowering. Inhale, exhale, lower a leg, inhale, exhale, lower a leg, okay? If we speed it up, it looks a little bit like this. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. It sounds like this. Okay, can we try that together? Here we go. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. Again. Keep going. Two more times. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. Last time. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. And now relax. How do you feel? Hopefully you feel like you've worked your abdominal muscles without doing a crunch, a push-up, a plank. Okay? Now we're going to do another move. It's called a roll-up. With this move, I must tell you that you can keep your knees bent for this move. And when you come to a seated position, which we all will, you can grab behind the legs and help yourself up to that seated position. Otherwise, you're going to extend your leg completely. You're going to make sure that your toes are pointed away. Okay, so you have pointed toes. You're still going to have your belly button pulled towards your spine and your spine pressed into the mat. You're still going to have your shoulders away from your ears. However, you're going to raise your arms above your head so that your thumb is pointed towards the floor and the mat, and your pinky finger is pointed upwards towards your ceiling or sky. When you do so, your arms should not touch the floor. If they do, it causes your lower back to pop off of the mat, which then takes the brace or the contraction out of your core and then causes you to use more of your upper back to lift yourself up. However, when you allow your arms to come naturally above your head and stop only at the point where your back is remaining on the mat, then you are in the proper position with your arms. For this exercise, you're first going to lift your arms, and then you're going to lift yourself up at the waist and come and sit completely up in a seated position, and then also rotate your ankle or point your toes up to the ceiling, coming to a seated position with a nice tall spine, belly button still pulled in, sitting up nice and tall looking forward. Now, if you had trouble coming up to the seated position, not to worry. I'm going to give you the breathing associated with it so that you will use that breath to help you come to the seated position. But before we get there, in order to recline back, you're going to need to pull your belly button in and then lower yourself down ever so gently back onto the mat in your start position, also pointing your toes away and bringing your arms back above your head. With this exercise, the breathing works like this. You are going to inhale, arms come up to the outsides of your chest. Then when you exhale, it's going to be a big breath. You're going to, and when you exhale, that exhaling, which draws the air out of your belly and encapsulates it so that it pushes up through your lungs, okay, or up through your lungs outward, will then help you to sit straight up, all right? Toes come straight up, pointing up to the ceiling, fingers are outstretched, arms are shoulder height, pull your belly button in and lower down again. Point your toes away. Okay, let's do it together. Remember the bent knee option. You're still going to bring your arms to the outside of your chest. You're still going to exhale, but instead grab behind your legs if you think you need it. Keep your feet planted. Don't lift them up to help you sit up. It's not a rocking motion. And then simply pull your belly button in and recline back if you're going to stay with a bent knee position. Okay, let's do it together. Toes pointed, if your legs are long, back is pressed into the mat, belly button is pressed towards the spine, core is contracted. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sit up, arms come out straight, toes are upright, looking forward, belly button pulled in, point your toes away to recline back. Don't flop onto the mat, take your time. Inhale, arms come out to the outside of the chest. Exhale, sit up, come to a seated position, look forward, toes are upright, shoulder height with the arms, pull your belly button in, recline back as you point your toes away. Inhale, exhale. Good. And inhale, recline back. When your back hits the mat, you're going to exhale and then bring your arms above your head. Again, inhale, exhale. Inhale, point your toes away. Recline back, arms above your head. Inhale, exhale. And inhale, recline back. Exhale once you're on the mat. Arms above your head. A few more. And take your time again. You don't have to move as fast as I am. If you're only on your second one, that's awesome. That's progress. Inhale, exhale. And let's do two more. Inhale, exhale. And last one. Very nice job. Okay, bring your arms down at your side and just rest, okay? This is also a yoga resting pose, but we're not quite to the yoga portion yet. And you're just here taking breaths, relaxing, meditating, enjoying the moment, not rushing anything, but identifying all the parts of your body, all the areas of your mind, and just allowing as much light to invade those areas and brighten them. Okay, now let's turn onto our side. We're going to do another Pilates exercise called side leg variations. This exercise requires you to lay on your side. When you lie on your side for Pilates, you always want to line up with the back edge of your mat. For me, I'm going to turn my back to you so you have an understanding of what that is. But then when we start to do the exercise, I'll face front. So the back edge of my mat, my shoulder, my glutes, my heels line up with the back edge. And what this does is it naturally helps you to, or inadvertently I should say, helps you to line yourself up accordingly so that you are nice and long for when we get ready to do the exercises, and you are using the muscles that are meant to be used for every area or for every portion of the exercise. Now I'm going to turn over, so go ahead and line yourself up with the back edge of your mat or your beach towel, whatever you choose to use. And now what you're going to do, my other hand is in front of me. My arm that I'm resting on is up by my ear. My legs are at the back edge of my mat as well, but now I'm going to kick both feet to the corner, to the front corner. Once I've set up myself in this pose, I'm now going to take my side that's closest to the mat and I'm going to lift it up off of the mat. And I'm going to hold it there in that position. Now, if you don't hold it in that position for the entire time, that's okay, okay? Again, we are progressing. We're not perfecting. We're progressing. We're always trying to get better with everything that we do. So hold it up there as much as you can, because what that's going to do is that's going to help you with the exercise. It's really going to make a difference. And the difference will come into you it's like using just your hip as opposed to engaging your core and your hip and your legs. All right? So the first exercise we're going to do is called an abductor in this position. Place your hand in front of your chest if you haven't done so already. And this is to act as like a buffer, all right, or a border that you don't want to cross. And even though we're just moving, using the lower part of our body, our legs, it tends to happen where we want to roll forward on our front of our thighs, and it's just a natural way of easing what we're doing, but we want to stay in line with the back edge of our mat for the upper part of our body. This abductor exercise is only asking you to take the top leg and lift it as far as you feel comfortable while keeping your side off of the mat. So let's try that together. We're going to lift and we're going to lower. We're going to keep our head and our body down on the mat. Sometimes when doing this exercise with certain clients, I notice that they lift their top halves up because they're finding it difficult to get to the leg height that they think they should get to. But just know that you don't have to get to any desired height. You just want to use the muscles that are meant to be used. So your hip flexor, your oblique here is also getting a workout down even through the toes, because you're pointing your toes when you do this. Then you're going to incorporate your diaphragm. So your core in the front, your abdominals are also going to get a workout. Inhale and then exhale as we lower. Again. Good. Let's do that again. Let's try 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Now, if you're feeling it where I'm feeling it and where you should be feeling it, you're going to say, oh, 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 right here in the hip flexor, right? And that's where you're supposed to be feeling it. Now, before we turn over to the other side to make our body balance, we're going to do another exercise on this side using the same leg, okay, which is going to give you more of that tired hip feeling. But do know you are working your hip flexors, okay? You're also giving your glutes a workout. This exercise, or this portion of this exercise, is going to require you to take the top leg with your toes pointed, and you're going to kick as if you're kicking a soccer ball. You're going to kick halfway, and you're going to kick the other half of the way before you flex your foot and bring that leg back to its starting position. So point your toe, and let's try it together. You're going to kick halfway, then you're going to kick all the way, and then you're going to flex your foot back with the heel. If you are not making it where you're about waist height with that kick, I want you to kick where you feel most comfortable. So if your kick is, this is your halfway, and this is the rest of the way, and then you're flexing your foot and leading back with your heel, work with that. Okay, let's try it again. Halfway, all the way, flex your foot and return. Still keeping this side up off of the mat, all right? Again, flex your foot, point your toes, halfway, all the way, return, leading with the heel. Now let's do the breathing. We're going to inhale, inhale, exhale, point the toe. Again, inhale, inhale, exhale. Good. Again, inhale, inhale, exhale. Let's try 2 more. Let's try one more. Let's rest that leg. Good. If you feel the muscles tensing up here again in that hip flexor area, go ahead and give it a little bit of a rub. Sometimes a little bit of a gentle pat also helps. And let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side of the body, okay? Line yourself up with the back edge of your mat, just like we did before. Bring your other hand in front as your border. Lift your side off the mat. Practice that. Take both feet to the opposite corner of your mat. Make sure you're nice and relaxed and you're not tensing up in the shoulders. And we're going to start with the same abductor exercise, taking the top leg away from the bottom leg with the toe pointed. Here we go. Lift and lower. Inhale, exhale. And it's okay however you choose to breathe. Some people enjoy breathing in through their nose, out through their mouth. Others prefer in through their mouth, out through their mouth. It's totally up to you. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 1 more. Very nice. Now let's try the kicking, okay? Point your toes and halfway, all the way, flex your foot and return. Toe pointed, halfway, all the way, flex your foot and return. Stay nice and stable. Don't roll forward, okay? Stay on your side. Halfway, all the way, and return. Very good. Let's try 3 more. Good, just 2 to go. Keep your side up. Let's try 1 more. Very nice. Go ahead and give yourself a little tap, a little rub. Very good. So those are just some Pilates moves that you can do as a part of your recovery and of just part of your exercise regimen. Now let's try some yoga moves. So one that I really love is child's pose. We do it all the time, and we're going to do it now. And it's just a nice restful pose for you to get in for when you just feel really fatigued and you just need to breathe. So come, and really it's good at any point in time. So come on your knees, or if you need to start on all 4s, that's fine as well. Bring your knees under your hips. Bring your big toes together. Start sliding or sitting your glutes down into your big toes. Start pushing your hands forward above your head. And tuck your head and just breathe. Again. One more. Good. Drag your arms in. You can also do a Cobra. So let's come on down to our belly on the mat. bridge of the foot down on your mat. Hands on the outside of your chest. You're going to inhale, tucking your elbows, and then you're going to exhale and slowly come on up, extending your arms, taking the bend out of your elbows, sinking your pelvis into the mat, opening up your chest, tilting your head back, squeezing your glutes, and breathing. Again. And lower down. Good. Let's try that one more time. Our Cobra pose. And if you feel the need to close your eyes, you can. You're going to inhale. And tucking your elbows. Palms pressed into the mat. Pelvis sinking into the mat. Fingers spread wide. And breathe. And lower down. Another one of my favorite poses is the downward dog pose. So go ahead and tuck your toes. Hands are already on the outside of your chest. You're going to lift your chest up, come up on your knees, and now you want to lift your knees with your toes tucked, and you want to press your heels down onto the mat, okay, as far as they can go. If you feel the need, as sometimes I do, you can bring your hands in slightly so that your heels can touch the mat. And breathe. Now, yoga is a little different than from Pilates because in yoga, you typically transition from pose to pose. So we could go from our Cobra pose, okay, to our downward dog pose. And keep going at that, through that pattern, through that series. So to the Cobra and to the downward dog. Remembering to breathe through every transition. Good. And come back to the Cobra. Untuck the toes. And then lower your chest down. Very good. How's that feel? Should feel pretty good. Alright, I want you to turn over into a seated pose, because I want to go over a couple of other things that are not Pilates related or yoga related, but can help you in your recovery as well. If you find that you're having some foot achy problems, you can use any one of these types of foot rollers, okay? This one has some sand in it, and you can put it down on the ground. It has nubs. You can come to a standing position and roll it underneath your feet, forward and backward, side to side, meaning your foot would move from side to side on this roller. And you would just continue to do so. You can find these online or wherever you tend to shop, and you just pick the one that works best for you, okay? Another option, okay, before I go to my sock, is you have these small little balls. They're about the size of a tennis ball. One is smooth, one is nubbed. I particularly like the nubbed ones because they get in those nooks and crannies that you think don't bother you, but they really do. So, or you already know that they bother you, so you want to roll them out. And know that rolling out your feet or taking care of your feet is very important. You age from your feet up. So you want to take care of your feet. You want to wear good shoes. You want to change out your shoes as often as you are able to financially and really necessarily, especially if you're working out quite a bit. It's very important that you kind of budget to put new shoes on your feet so that you are not causing any extensive damage when you work out to your joints and your muscles. Smooth ball works the same way. But let's just say that, you don't want to spend that money. That's okay. I totally understand that. I simply have here 2 tennis balls inside of 2 very old socks. And, see, tennis ball inside of a sock, 2 of them. And what I do is, once I have them in here nice and tight, I put a knot in the top. And once it feels good to me, then I can do the same exact thing that I was doing with the other 2 balls, or to the foot roller. You can also use a PVC pipe if you have it. You can roll your foot against that if you wanted to. Sometimes some people drill holes in it because for some reason that adds or relieves some of the pressure, and that also makes it feel good to them. And even if you choose to do that, once you drill the holes in there, you can put some type of nubbed product in there. So maybe some old pencil erasers that'll give you the nubbed feeling of the smaller ball, or something else that you think will work just as well but won't cause you any pain. Other things we want to work on, let's try to roll out our body and rejuvenate our muscles with foam rollers. We talked about these. We talked about making sure that when you use a foam roller, whether you get them nubbed or smooth, that you're always starting one area at a time. I like to start with my leg first. Well, the back of my leg first. Okay, rolling up and back. You can do the same thing with a piece of PVC pipe of larger size, okay? And you're looking for those areas that feel tight or kind of hurt when you roll against them, just holding it in that spot for an extra 5 to 10 seconds until that knot has been relieved. And finally, you can get one of these rollers. They work really well for the upper back, so tense shoulders or hard to reach back areas also work. And quite honestly, if you don't have a hand roller, a door frame works just as well. And just taking your time, okay? Of course, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any nails poking out or there's no rough wood, and you surely don't want to do it with your back exposed. But if you can find a smooth door frame in your home or wherever you are, and simply roll yourself or roll your back up against it from side to side, gently, of course, that is also a nice relieving method. So if you have your leggings tied together, where I'm going to use this thermoband, but I'm also going to show you some ways that you can do some small muscle exercises as a way of recovering. So an option is to hold out your band in both hands. You can extend fully, close fully. Let's do that again. Extend completely, close completely, okay? Bring the arms out as far as you can. And you can do this standing, you can do this sitting. For me, I'm kneeling so you can see me clearly. Okay, let's do one more. Good. You can bring it behind your back. One hand on the bottom, the other one at the top. And what I like to do is I like to do pulses with my ThermaBand most of the time. So for me, and for you, which I hope you're doing it with me, I'm going to put one hand above my head and I'm going to extend, hold it for a second, and then lower it slowly, but then come back to the end mark. Lower and then pull. Lower and then pull. I'm not going to lower it all the way to the starting position. I'm going to lower it just slightly. Let's do 3 more. And 2. And 1 more. Good. Let's switch sides. So now the top hand becomes the bottom hand. Okay? And the bottom hand becomes the top. The closer the hands are together, the harder it is. And then we're going to lift up completely. Lower. Just little lowers. And don't forget to breathe. Don't hold your breath, but do hold your belly button in. Good. Let's do 3 more. 2 and 1. Good. So you might be saying, this is a strength building exercise. Sure it is. Just like Pilates is, just like yoga is. But again, it's not a lot of jumping, not a lot of high intensity, okay? Once I'm done with my arms, okay, doing some extensions, some pulls and compressions and anything that makes me feel good, but I'm not causing any strain, I'm going to work my way down the body, okay? I'm then going to try to do some rotational pull, some rotational exercises. So in a standing position with my knees underneath my hips, I'm going to hold my breath in, and then I'm going to rotate to one side as far as I can, and then slowly bring it in. Good. And let's do the other side. So holding it out here, providing some tension. So my upper back is helping me as well. Belly button pulled in. And fully turn to where your body stops. And then slowly bring it in back to the front. Okay, very good. Let's try that one more time. And inhale. And fully twist. Bring it in a little bit at a time. Other side, don't hunch. Shoulders down. And in a little bit. Very nice. Then I work my way down to my legs. So for my legs, if you're like me, the back of my legs tend to get the tightest, become the tightest part on my body. So I tend to stretch those quite a bit. And with my band, I simply place my foot in the center of it. And I have my other leg bent at the knee. And what I'm doing is I'm holding onto my band with 2 hands. And I can do some lowerings and some lifts. Let's try that. Heel down. Swing the leg up. Down and up. Good. And then I can also allow my leg to fall to the side. Okay, as far as it can, I'm willing to allow it to fall. And I feel a stretch on the inner thigh. And that also feels good to me. And then I can take the same leg and I can swing it in the opposite direction of my body and stretch out my hip flexor. And then I would repeat and do the same thing with the opposite leg. Okay? Opposite leg, lower down and lift. Lower down and lift. My elbows elbows are pulled tight towards my shirt. Give them some tension. One more. Good. And then, again, crossing the body. Only to where it's a mild discomfort, so I feel a really good stretch in my hamstring, and that's where I'm going to hold it. And if I want to bring it up and open it up to the other side, just like I did with my other leg, but in this case my wall is blocking, but I would do the same exact thing. Okay, so you want to balance your body out. Stretch the muscles that you use often. And finally, some diaphragmic breathing. So diaphragmic breathing is where you engage the diaphragm, of course, and you breathe deeply you deeply inhale and you deeply exhale. Sometimes you hold it, okay, to build up those muscles, and sometimes you change the rhythm of the breath. So let's try a couple of them. So first, sit in the most comfortable position for you. You can sit in a chair if you choose to, and diaphragm breathing is what we do at the end of class when we do 3 breaths. It's really good for us to just reset our body. And shoulders should be down if you choose to sit in a crisscross position. And you should be very relaxed. So I'm going to uncross my arms and maybe place them at my sides with my palms up. Or just place them on my knees because that may feel most comfortable. You're going to take a breath in. And then exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. So let me tell you something. If you're like me, for a long time, I thought inhaling was pulling your belly button in and exhaling was letting your belly be flabby and just become full. But that's the opposite. When you inhale, you want to bring air into the body, which is going to inflate the belly. When you exhale, you want to take air out of the body, which is going to cause the belly to be flat or more firm. It's why singers have very good abdominal muscles usually, because they're using their diaphragm to sing, bring the notes up from that area out of their mouth, okay? So let's try it. Ready? Breathe, make your belly big and inhale. Now exhale and take the air out. Okay, let's do that again. Inhale. And exhale. This time, let's take a big breath in. Hold it for 2 seconds and then exhale. Ready? Good. Let's try that again. Inhale. Now let's try it for 5-second hold, okay? Inhale. Let's try that again. Good. Relax. How does that make you feel? Let's try one more thing. Let's try what's called a staccato breath. And it's kind of like labored breathing, almost like what a pregnant person would exhibit once they're in labor, right? So let's try it. What we're going to do is we're going to do a big inhale. And when we get ready to exhale, we're going to exhale for a 5 count slowly. So it's going to look like this. Okay, on the 5th count, you're just going to exhale completely. Ready? Inhale. Good. Let's try it again. Inhale. Now let's do our 3 breaths, bringing our arms over our head. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale. Great job today. Today we talked about recovery, it being active versus passive. We talked about the difference. We talked about some things that we could do to recover our bodies so our bodies can work longer and harder for us when we're ready for it to do so. I hope this was helpful to you. I want to thank you for always tuning in with me for Exercise 101. I hope you learned something. I hope you're being progressive. And you don't have to be perfect. Just keep going. Keep moving forward. Thank you. Bye for now.